As a new session approaches, I would like to give you a few reminders of what you can do before the courses begin. The first thing is you're going to want to post a welcome message for your students, and you can do that by clicking on the newsroom link. The newsroom is located in every course on the top of the course page. Click Add a New Topic and type some type of welcome message. You will probably write more than that. You might want to tell your students to familiarize themselves with the syllabus, or perhaps you want to let them know that they could post in the introductions form and tell a little bit about themselves, say hello to their classmates. Or if you have any pre-work that you would like them to complete, you'll want to communicate that here. Then, click Post to Forum. Not only will your students see this in the newsroom in the course, but the message is also going to be sent to their BBC email. Anyone who has access to your course is going to receive this message as an email. So the next thing that you want to do is make sure that your students actually have access. So if you go back to the main course page and click on the participants link, you can see a list of your students there. If any students are missing, let me know and I'll get them access. It could be an enrollment issue or it could be a Moodle issue, so it'll need to be researched. But usually, if you don't have any students, then there's a problem, and if you have multiple students, then there's probably not a problem. It's usually an all or nothing type of thing. So if your students are listed there, then you can be sure that they're going to be receiving a copy of the welcome message that you posted. Another thing that you might want to consider is breaking your students up into groups. This will allow for deeper discussion in the discussion forums. Instead of interacting with 20 people, they can interact with 10 people, or they can interact with 5 people, depending on how you want to break your class up. Typically, if you have more than 10 or 12 students in your class, it's a good idea to break them up into groups for certain collaborative activities. How big or small you want the groups to be depends on your philosophical view and depends on your course design. I'm just going to show you how to break the students up into groups in case it's something that you decide to do. First thing you're going to do is click on Groups. It's in the administration block, probably on the left side of your course. Then click Create Group, and you're going to want to give the group a name. So you can make the name something relevant to your course, or you can just make it simple and say Group 1 and Group 2, or Group A and Group B. So I'll just put Group A. If you would like, you can browse for a picture, and that picture will appear for the group. So you can get creative with it, but I won't do that. I'm just going to name it Group A. And then I'll create a second group, call it Group B. And you certainly aren't limited to 2 groups, but I'm just going to do 2 for demonstration purposes. The next thing you want to do is I'm going to click on Group A and click Add Remove Users. Everyone who is enrolled in the course is going to appear on the right side, and you want to move them over to the left side of the screen. And whoever you move over is going to go into the group that you selected. So I have 6 students in the class, because one of them is me as the instructor. And I want to move 3 into Group A and 3 into Group B. So I'm going to select who I want to put in Group A, and then click Add, and they're going to move over to the left side of the screen. And then if I click back to Groups, I can go to Group B and do the same thing. You want to make sure that you put yourself as the instructor in every group that you create, so that you'll be able to interact with the students as well, and you'll be able to see what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So you're going to, as the instructor, you're going to end up in multiple groups. And then the last step, for discussion forums anyway, is you're going to click on the discussion forum, click on Update this forum, and you're going to change the group mode from no groups to separate groups, or visible groups. The difference is with separate groups, the students won't be able to see other groups' postings. With visible groups, they will be able to see other groups' postings, but they won't be able to participate. They'll only be able to participate in their group that you put them in. Typically, you'll do separate groups, or at times there might be a place for visible groups as well. But I'm just going to select this, save and return to course. If you go into the first discussion forum, you can see that it says all participants Group A, Group B in the drop-down menu. I want to create a question for Group A and for Group B. If I create one for all participants, then both groups are going to be able to see it and interact. So I'll click Group A, and if you are a course instructor and not a course designer, the questions are going to be there for you already, but if you decide to break your students up into groups, you're going to need to copy and paste the questions and put them in again, or multiple times depending on how many groups you have, so that each group has that same question. So I selected Group A. I'm going to click Add a new discussion topic. I can see down here that it's for Group A only. And then I'm going to drop this down to Group B and add a new topic. Now let me show you what this would be like for a student coming in to the course. This student is in Group B, so he or she has a question that can be interacted with other people who are in Group B, but will not be able to see Group B's or Group A's interaction. That's how you can divide your students up into groups, and you might want to keep them in the same groups throughout the course so that they can get to know those people who are in their groups and have a consistent interaction with them over the whole 8 weeks. Or you can switch up the groups periodically so that your students get to interact with everybody by the time the course ends. So that's up to you, and if you need any help deciding whether or not you should have groups, if you need any help breaking your students up into groups after watching this video, or if you're having trouble deciding what that might look like, then just let me know and I'll try to guide you as best as I can. Thanks for watching.